to the Mirandas and their detailing origins, and how'd y'all come about starting detailing together, and the YouTube, getting on the YouTube and becoming a content creator. How did it all start out?
Yeah, so when it came to our detailing business, we started that 13 years ago. We moved down here to Virginia in the end of '09, and we basically came down here with absolutely nothing. Like, we sold everything up north. We used to live in northern Vermont and northern New York area.
Wow.
And that's where we lived and grew up. You know, I grew up in Boston and I grew up in Vermont. So I'm a New Englander. I'm used to up there. But, you know, my wife, when we got married, my wife's parents had a really good painting business. We actually used to paint the condominiums at Killington Mountain, the big ski mountain up there. And it was a great business for many years. And I thought, hey, great, this will be like a family business. We'll just kind of, you know, work into it and keep it going. But unfortunately, with those big corporate mountains, they sold to new owners, and they basically just slowly weeded out all of the good people that have been there for years. And we eventually our businesses went down. And then we struggled for years, just jumping around to different, you know, places to work and just struggling. And the debt just kept growing and growing and growing, just empty credit card debt. It wasn't good times. We hit rock bottom.
Right.
So it was like, I think it was the end of 2007, beginning of 2008, where we really hit rock bottom. It was like the middle of winter in Vermont. If anyone knows the winters up there, it's like 10 months out of the year is winter. And I was just working little piddly jobs here and there. You know, some friends were kind of helping try to support. And I was working, like, I was doing everything from working from H&R Block as a tax preparer. I did that for 2 years. And then I used to work as like a handyman for a masonry company that he was a friend of mine. But again, that was just a small little part-time job. We used to do cleaning of houses. My wife and I used to do that together. So it's like we did so many odds and ends. But it just couldn't produce anything, you know. Even trying to start our own little business up there, it just didn't work out.
Right.
So we had the crazy idea of moving somewhere else where it's a better working season, longer working season, warm. And the last 2 years, I did work as that mobile bumper painter, and actually that was the most lucrative. That was really good, but I didn't own it. I was just an employee, and I wanted to move down here and start the business down here. The startup cost, however, was way too much, and I couldn't do that. So in my research, I actually stumbled across detailing. I stumbled across Auto Geek and Right Look and like all those companies that provide training and provide chemicals and all of that. And just I went down the rabbit hole, and I'm like, wait a second, what's detailing? What is this? And that's when I started learning about it. And actually stumbled across some YouTubers back then. Gary Dean was actually a big back then. He's not a huge, you know, YouTuber on the scene. He still does videos, but he was a great guy. Or he is a great guy, a great influence to me. I actually learned a ton from him back in the day. I even called him and talked to him, and he was really cool. He actually gave me some really good pointers, and I talked to him. Talked to a few other detailers at the time. But yeah, we basically moved down here. We sold everything we had up there. Moved down here with like our own personal vehicle, like an old Avalon we had at the time, in my parents' minivan, full of our clothes. Like, that's it. We sold everything and just started from scratch. And we were like in 30 grand of just empty credit card debt. Yeah. So it's like when I explain it like that, and we moved to an area where we really didn't know anyone. We're just like, let's just start our lives over and see what happens. Like, it was a big gamble.
That is a back against the wall, make it happen situation.
Yes, it was do or die. It was just like, what do we got to lose?
Yeah.
Like, if it doesn't work out, we'll just go back and live with my in-laws. Like, I don't know. It was crazy times. So yeah, we basically just did that, and we just struggled. You know, we again just put everything on a credit card. We bought this old Astro van, which I keep saying this and I just keep forgetting. I have old footage of our very first setup and us 13 years ago working on a car. Like, I took a little bit of video at the time. We were such younger and skinnier people.
It happens.
Yeah, I know, right? But I got footage of that, which is just kind of nostalgic. It was pretty cool. But we just started from scratch. We just went around begging, you know, to wash people's cars for like $25 a pop, and vacuuming. That was like car wash, vacuum, you know, and we did that for like a year, and we almost failed. almost failed.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, Groupon was coming on the scene, and they were
Yep.
good back in the day. They're oversaturated now. It wouldn't do anyone any good, but it helped us at that place and time, and they got us on the map. Like, we ran a couple of deals with them, and it just got us going, and it boosted our website, which I made sure to definitely have a good website at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I tracked it. I actually looked at our analytics on our website at the time when Groupon was doing their thing, and I was getting thousands of hits almost every day for like a week. And it just shot up our website organically right up to the top.
Wow.
And then we started getting phone calls, and they're like, yeah, I saw your Groupon deal, but I don't care about that. I found you through there. I want your other packages. So it slowly morphed into our better packages and better pricing. And then eventually, 2 years down the road, after doing Groupon 3 times, I think, at that point, it was self-sustaining. We're like, that was it. So it was like paying for advertising on your website.
Mm-hmm.
Because you didn't make a ton of money with Groupon, but at least it got you rolling, and it taught us how to schedule. It taught us how to work efficiently. Like, it taught us so many things. So we basically just jumped in the deep end, and we're just learning how to swim, and eventually we made it. But it was
That's really cool.
It was a struggle. It was crazy. So
that is indeed one heck of a story.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. When I think back on it, I'm like, wow.
I mean, that's the Rocky story of detailing right there.
Yeah. I'm glad you ended up where you are.
Yep.
Me too. Yeah. And YouTube was the next step. I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago. I started realizing, like, look, I'm actually learning from people on YouTube. Why don't I do something on YouTube?
Yep.
And I started slowly doing that. And I was kind of fashioning it after my biggest people who I really enjoyed watching and learning from, Alan from AM Details and Jim White from White Details. Those are the biggest ones. It's weird because they're in the UK, but I watch them a lot. Larry Ammo, learned a ton from him. And it's funny, some of the methods that I use to this day are from those guys, and people just don't know it. Like, they have to look back 5 years in the archives of those people's videos to see that I'm just copying what they're doing, and I just adapted it to my own style. So it's nothing new, but it's just, I adapted it. I morphed it to my own thing to work for me. But that's how we all learn anyway.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have plenty of Phil Miranda techniques you'll see on TikTok for sure.
What's funny is your spinning of the foam cannon. Once I saw people started doing that, I'm like, oh, dang it. I was doing that years ago. I should have started. Like, I just used to do it for fun. Like, I should have filmed it.
Should have filmed it. Yep.
Phil's OG flipper.
For me.
You got to film it and put it on the right app, and then.
That's what it's about.